Hey guys, as the finally sequel to the last video that I made so long ago, but I suck at having a good upload schedule and sometimes even uploading at all, I have finally decided to continue this so all of those Stranger Things fans can know what the Mind Flayer actually is in D&D, which is basically most of the source material for Stranger Things. Anyways, I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's get right into it. Yet again, according to Volo's Guide to Monsters. Okay, so last video I talked about the Mind Flayer and how it relates to D&D and which Mind Flayer is most like the Mind Flayer in D&D. And in today's video, I will be talking about how the Mind Flayer's attacks in Stranger Things and D&D relate to each other, and how the Mind Flayer's lair is like the Mind Flayer's lair in D&D. Now in this section about an Elderbrain's lair, it says, "The lair of an Elderbrain always lies deep in the heart of a Mind Flayer colony. The creature dwells in a dimly glowing brine pool filled with foul and brackish water infused with the Elderbrain's vital fluid and the psionic energy." Now in this scene, we can assume that that's the very thing that's happening, and also with all the kids in other parts of this show. But we can also see that it is probably filled exactly with the vital fluids and psionic energy because of what happens to Will when all of this was going inside of him. And because later he became kind of like a wizard and had the same powers, well, close to the same powers that Eleven had. Now the beginning sections here are kind of mentioned in the show, how where it says the Elderbrain casts Wall of Force, how the Elderbrain was able to stop them from going into the lair, or he could sometimes use his psionic powers to freeze them where they were and stop them from getting closer to him. But these sections are very well mentioned in the show because it says here that the Elderbrain can target one creature within 120 feet of it, and it anchors it by sheer force of will, which is almost exactly what happened to 11 and at some points Max also, because technically that is his domain because it's inside of his mind, and they are unable to leave the current space, but it can repeat a saving throw at the end of each turn, ending the effect on itself as a success, which is essentially what happens in this show. So theoretically in the show, 11 is just consistently spamming saving throws and rolling the d20 like crazy, and then she eventually succeeds. Okay, the Mind Flayer in D&D, aka the Elderbrain, has a lot of attacks, so I'm just going to speed through these. Okay, so first we have Tentacle, which allows the Mind Flayer to grapple onto the enemy and attack it. Similar to how a few seconds earlier in this scene, all the tentacles went and grabbed onto Will, and like this one does also. This attack is pretty much just like every scene in the movie where he just uses his psykinetic powers to stun them or something. He does a lot in the show, and there are so many examples of this. So now this scene is probably the most lore accurate to D&D theme that Stranger Things did, and they did an amazing job with it. Psychic Link, the Elderbrain targets one incapacitated creature it can perceive with its creature sense trait and establishes a psychic link with it, and until the psychic link ends, the Elderbrain can perceive everything the target senses, which is shown amazingly in this Demogorgon scene where Will can see, feel, and everything that happens to the Demogorgon, which is exactly what is happening here. And it says at the bottom, the Elderbrain can form psychic links with up to 10 creatures at a time, which is also shown a lot in the show, where Vecna traps and has psychic links with all of the different children. And this scene is also pretty much shown in the show, in the exact same scene and in other parts of the show. Now, Tentacle, pretty much the exact same thing we saw earlier, is pretty self-explanatory. Vecna attacking people with tentacles. Now, the next part, Break Connection, and also the other ones are pretty much the same thing. But he targets a creature with which it has a psychic link. The Elderbrain breaks the creature's concentration on the spell it has cast. and it takes damage per level of the spell, which is exactly what we can see when Vecna takes back control.
Get out! Get out!
What is happening?
Get out! Get out!
Anyways, guys, I hope you Stranger Things fans, D&D fans, or Stranger Things fans who've played D&D, whatever, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video and learned more about the Mind Flayer in D&D, the Mind Flayer in Stranger Things, and all of the above. Anyways, hope you have an amazing day. Bye-bye.